All right, let's talk about Sam Howell, the quarterback for the Washington football team, also known as the Washington Commanders, but, it's more fun to say Washington football team, playing in his second NFL game, and as a whole, I thought it was good. There were some negatives. In fact, we can even start off with some negatives. This was not a perfect performance from Howell. The fumble was the one that I think that, this performance feels a lot different if he doesn't have this fumble. I think this was a tough one. And in fairness, there was a bit of, I thought, this wasn't entirely on him. It was a tough play just in general. Watch how when Howell takes the snap, you're going to see that he, looks down the field, not a lot open, and on top of this, pressure kind of just quickly emerged right here. It wasn't like it was just a bit of a unique scenario where, the edge rusher beats the right tackle, but kind of spins in a way where he's right in front of Howell all of a sudden. So, okay, bit of a surprise from Howell, but a lot of what separates the bad quarterbacks from the solid quarterbacks in the NFL, which is that's the expectations for Howell year one, right? I know it's technically year two, but really year one, just play solid. To do it, you have to minimize damage here, and you can try and throw the ball away here, or even take a sack. Howell tries to spin out of it and ends up losing the football, and that results in in 6 points the other way, and that just can't happen. I mean, especially against a team like Arizona, which you feel like you have to beat, you can't be making these kind of mistakes. You just can't. I also thought that just in general, there was, a bit too many sacks in general that Howell took in this game, so, some issues, but as a whole, he made a lot of really good plays too, I thought. This one's a good one where, this is something I really look towards. The one-on-one matchups on the outside. Do you have someone who can win consistently? That's a wide receiver question. But also, if there's a window, can the quarterback hit it that far down the field? I mean, I think in college you really see it where, like, when a quarterback can't hit these throws, it's just like impossible for the offense to move. But when they can, the offense looks like 1,000 times better. Well, it's the same idea in the NFL, just the windows are smaller and you have more quarterbacks who can hit those. So can Howell do it here? Well, right when the play begins, I guess the first question is this a throw he should make? Yep, it is. You can see there's some separation right here. So, okay, good stuff here. This is the great Terry McLaurin working one-on-one on the outside, which this is, matchup that, Kyle and I talked about in the podcast. And while you look at the 31 overall yards for McLaurin, you might think it's not that great. This was a big play that McLaurin made that isn't going to actually result in a catch. Because Howell's going to put this one, I would say, right where he wanted to put it. There was a pass interference that meant McLaurin couldn't make that catch. To me, that's a good throw, a good route, and, defender tried to see if he could get away with something, did not, and so you still get the yardage right there. So really good stuff from McLaurin, really good stuff from Sam Howell. I think this play shows both good and bad from Sam Howell, where it's going to be man coverage. You have a linebacker and a safety covering over the middle of the field, and it looks like the way this play on the left is designed to work is you have a player kind of running, more of a route, just try and clear out defenders, and then another receiver and a halfback both eventually are going to run shallow over the middle here. As you see, Howell takes a snap. He looks somewhere else at first, but quickly gets back towards the left. And right here, this is about to be wide open. There is a linebacker in front, but he's not playing man coverage right here, and he's playing the receiver, not the player behind him. So Howell is looking right here. I just think that he doesn't fully realize that the linebacker isn't playing man coverage. I think he assumed he was. Because instead, Howell's going to scramble out towards the outside, which at this point, okay, not a lot appears to be good. You have a player right there that maybe you could try and throw to, but there's two Arizona players in his way. So what do? Well, I mean, it's possible that they will try to make sure that Sam Howell does not run with the football, and if that happens, then great. Watch them step in, and the second they do, Howell realizes it, hits it to, that was Brian Robinson, the running back there, and they're able to pick up a touchdown. First off, disastrous defense by Arizona. I mean, you have three players there. Trust that, two of them can bring down Sam Howell, stay back and make sure you're playing coverage, but what do I always say? A good quarterback takes advantage of their opponent's mistakes, and that's what Howell did there. So, while it could have been maybe a little bit cleaner, still a very good play from Howell. This play was wild, and to be honest, I don't love it, But I have to say, Howell does do a pretty good job at, I feel like constantly, I'm like, yeah, I don't like that and don't think it will consistently work, but then it consistently works. So I don't know. I said the same thing about Drew Lock of, hey, I don't think these plays will work, but they're working now. And then they stopped working. A lot of people said those things about Patrick Mahomes, and those things have still been working. So who knows? And it's obviously not to say that the two options are Patrick Mahomes or Drew Lock, just that, it can go either way. But, this play, cover 2 man that the Cardinals are in. Watch how when Howell takes the snap, he is going to step up in the pocket, looks towards the bottom of the screen, and nothing is really that open. Also, the player I've circled, that's also not really that open. But Howell looks over there and immediately fires, and it's somehow that only ends up as an incompletion. Could have honestly ended up as a completion. It wasn't that far away, and at least wasn't a sack, which is good. I don't like that. I don't like that play. I think that could have been a disaster from Howell. You have to know what's going on. It's essentially a no-look pass. I mean, he threw it the second he looked over there. He didn't look over there and then say, oh yeah, that's open enough, and made the decision to make the throw. No, he just sort of took a chance, which is not one he should have made. So again, it's worth mentioning, the guy's playing in his second game. Like, yeah, he's going to have some rookie mistakes. He had some young player mistakes, and he's only 22 years old. So, I mean, there's rookies who are older than him, right? So it's not that crazy that he's going to be making some mistakes. But yeah, I did think he did not play the cleanest game, but still an effective one. Like, while there was an interception, just to go over it real quick, it was not his fault. Like, watch as, it's just going to be a tipped pass. So, at first, I was like, oh, wow, that's a real misthrow. And then I watched it again. I was like, oh, no, yeah, there's just a tipped pass. That's all that happened there. So, that was not a bad play whatsoever by Howell. It was just a tipped pass, and actually was probably the correct read and correct throw and everything, well-timed. It just, sometimes you get unlucky. Turnover luck is obviously a real thing, and that's what happened there. But no critique there. And like going over here, I thought he was making some really good throws. Especially, he went through some stretches where he did look very good. Like right here, it's his own coverage. You have a receiver running a route that's going to go over the middle. Howell is going to take the snap right here. He looks over the middle, and, there's a window to make this throw, absolutely. And so, for Howell, I thought that he was just doing a good job of where were these windows, even down the field. Like, it wasn't just like, shallow routes, but like relatively down the field. You're still going to see him be able to push the ball down the field accurately, and they're able to pick up the completion right there. He did a pretty good job of this. So, again, it was against Arizona. There's obviously that caveat of we just knew he wasn't going to get massively tested in this game, and it was kind of a dream scenario for Washington getting to play against a team that I didn't think was that great. It gets a lot harder from here. Denver, who, I know haven't really shown a ton just yet, but, that's who they play next, and their defense was very good last year. Then you play Buffalo and Philadelphia, 2 teams that have championship aspirations. So, ideally, they want to make sure to come out with a win next week, because it could be tough from there. But then the schedule gets a little easier after that. They play Chicago, Atlanta, and the Giants. So, some good stuff there. But yeah, as a whole, I would say an optimistic performance from Sam Howell. Not an overly impressive one, but given the fact that he's playing in his second NFL game, I would actually say it is pretty impressive. But yeah, those are my thoughts. What are yours? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.